picked up a small, shiny can of Red Bull and wondered how something so small could promise such powerful energy? It's advertised everywhere as a drink that gives you wings, a symbol of strength, alertness, and adventure. But what's inside this little can? How does it really give you a boost? And does it come with hidden risks? Today we're diving deep into the world of Red Bull, uncovering the fascinating history of this global icon, breaking down the science of its ingredients, and following the journey of how every single can is made inside one of the most advanced beverage factories in the world. Get ready, because this story is much more than just about a drink. It's about culture, science, and the art of marketing. The story of Red Bull doesn't start in Europe, as many might think. Instead, it begins in the bustling streets of Bangkok, Thailand, in 1982. An Austrian businessman named Dietrich Mateschitz was traveling through Asia on a business trip when he came across a local beverage called Krating Daeng. It was a sweet, syrupy energy drink that was incredibly popular among Thai truck drivers, farmers, and laborers who needed to stay awake through long, grueling shifts. Mateschitz, suffering from jet lag, tried the drink himself. To his surprise, it worked wonders. He felt awake, focused, and energized. That moment sparked an idea that would eventually reshape the beverage industry. Mateschitz realized that there was nothing like this in the Western market. He saw an opportunity not just to introduce a new drink, but to create an entirely new category, the energy drink. He partnered with the drink's Thai creator, Chaleo Yuvadhia. Together, they rebranded Krating Daeng for European and American audiences. They adjusted the flavor to be lighter and more appealing to Western tastes, toned down the sweetness, and packaged it in a sleek, slim aluminum can that looked modern and unique. In 1987, the first can of Red Bull was launched in Austria. At first, people were skeptical. Why would anyone pay for such a small, expensive drink in such an unusual can? But Mateschitz had a brilliant vision. He didn't just sell Red Bull as a beverage, he sold it as a lifestyle. Instead of buying ads on traditional television or newspapers, he focused on extreme sports, adventurous stunts, and youth culture. From sponsoring snowboarders and skateboarders to organizing cliff diving competitions, and later even owning Formula One racing teams, Red Bull became more than just a drink. It was a symbol of energy, adrenaline, and living life without limits. Their slogan, "Red Bull gives you wings," wasn't just catchy, it perfectly captured the brand's promise of pushing boundaries. But behind the marketing magic lies a fascinating science. What's actually inside a can of Red Bull? The main ingredients are caffeine, taurine, B group vitamins, sucrose, and glucose. Each plays a unique role in delivering that energy kick. Caffeine, of course, is the most familiar. One can of Red Bull contains about the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine, a chemical in your brain that makes you feel tired. By blocking it, caffeine keeps your brain active, sharp, and alert. That's why after drinking Red Bull, you feel less sleepy and more focused. Then there's taurine, one of the most misunderstood ingredients. Rumors have long claimed that taurine comes from bull semen or bull bile because its name comes from the Latin word taurus, meaning bull. But this is just a myth. The taurine used in Red Bull is produced synthetically in laboratories, making it completely vegetarian and vegan-friendly. Taurine actually plays an important role in the body. It supports muscle function, helps regulate hydration, and protects the heart. Red Bull also contains B group vitamins, such as B3, B5, B6, and B12. These vitamins don't directly give you energy, but they help your body convert the food you eat, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, into usable energy. That's why they're called energy vitamins. Without them, your body's engines wouldn't run efficiently. And of course, there's sugar. A standard can of Red Bull contains sucrose and glucose, which are quickly absorbed by your body and provide instant fuel. That's why after drinking it, you often feel a quick surge of energy. For those who want the effect without sugar, Red Bull also has sugar-free versions that use artificial sweeteners like aspartame and acesulfame K. Now that we understand the science, let's step inside the factory to see how these ingredients are turned into the world's most famous energy drink. The process begins with sourcing. Red Bull ensures that every ingredient, from caffeine to vitamins, is tested for purity and safety. Shipments arrive at the factory, where they are carefully stored until needed. Inside enormous stainless steel tanks, the ingredients are mixed with purified water to create the Red Bull formula. Every batch is made with extreme precision, and even the smallest mistake in measurement could ruin the consistency. That's why the entire process is automated, monitored by computer systems that maintain accuracy to the smallest fraction. While the liquid is being prepared, another fascinating process is happening simultaneously: the creation of Red Bull's cans. Red Bull uses aluminum for its cans because it's lightweight, durable, and infinitely recyclable. Large rolls of aluminum sheets arrive at the factory, where they are cut and pressed into the familiar slim can shape. Each can is then coated with a protective lining to prevent the liquid from reacting with the metal. Without this coating, the drink's taste and safety could be compromised. Once the cans are ready, they move along conveyor belts toward high-speed filling machines. These machines are astonishing. They can fill thousands of cans every single minute. The Red Bull formula is pumped into each can, and immediately after filling, the cans are sealed airtight with lids. This ensures that no oxygen can enter and no carbonation escapes. The sealed cans are then pasteurized to kill any potential bacteria and guarantee a long shelf life without preservatives. Every single can undergoes strict quality checks. Some are weighed to make sure the filling is exact. Others are opened and tested for taste, carbonation, and pH levels. Even the lids and seams are inspected under high-speed cameras to detect the tiniest flaws. Red Bull's reputation relies on consistency, and they cannot afford mistakes when producing billions of cans a year. Next comes packaging. The cans are bundled together in trays, shrink-wrapped, and stacked onto pallets ready for shipping. From here, Red Bull begins its journey to every corner of the globe, from supermarkets and gas stations to gyms, offices, and sporting events. One of the most remarkable things about Red Bull's cans is sustainability. Aluminum is 100% recyclable, and recycling a single can save enough energy to power a television for 3 hours. Red Bull has invested heavily in making its production more sustainable, reducing CO2 emissions, creating lighter cans that require less material, and exploring renewable energy sources for its factories. Still, with billions of cans transported worldwide, the company continues to face challenges in reducing its environmental footprint. But here's a question many people still ask: is Red Bull safe? The answer, according to health authorities around the world, is yes, when consumed in moderation. A can or two a day is generally considered safe for healthy adults. The European Food Safety Authority, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and other organizations have all concluded that Red Bull's ingredients are not harmful in normal quantities. However, problems arise when people drink too much or mix Red Bull with alcohol. Too much caffeine can cause jitters, increased heart rate, and trouble sleeping. And when mixed with alcohol, Red Bull can mask feelings of intoxication, leading people to underestimate how drunk they actually are. That's why health experts always recommend moderation. Beyond the science and production, Red Bull has built something no other drink has achieved: a culture. Think of Red Bull Flug Tag, where people build homemade flying machines and launch them off ramps into water. Think of Red Bull Stratos, where Felix Baumgartner jumped from the edge of space, breaking the sound barrier as millions watched live. Red Bull doesn't just sell a drink, they sell the idea of pushing human limits, of achieving the impossible, of living with wings. From a tiny street-side drink in Thailand to a global empire worth billions, Red Bull's journey is one of the most incredible success stories in the modern food and beverage industry. Every can carries not just caffeine and sugar, but decades of innovation, science, marketing genius, and culture. So the next time you hold a Red Bull, remember, it's more than just a drink. It's a symbol of energy, ambition, and the human drive to go further. But it's also a reminder, even wings should be used wisely. And now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Red Bull flavor? Have you ever felt it really give you that boost you needed? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey inside the world of Red Bull, don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to Captain Discovery for more fascinating stories from inside the factories that make the products we all know. Because behind every can, every chip, and every invention, there's a story waiting to be told.